Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now we are moving right along with the YouTube investment opportunity. So make sure you click the link in the description, see how close we are to our goal, look at the deadline, and join us if you would like. Thank you so much for that. Now, I wanted to touch on this because a few people wrote me and was like, hey, Tony, can you speak on this? And y'all know that's dangerous to ask me to speak on stuff because a lot of times I don't look at stuff the way the typical person may look at it because of the work that I do and the space that I'm in. And last time y'all asked me to speak on Cam Newton interview, I got completely just bombasted online by everybody who was upset that I had an issue with the young lady outfit while she trying to give a message. And it was all women just because women don't look at women like that the way a man looks at a woman. So my perspective was completely different than what a lot of women thought it would be. Now, in this case, we have a man, Shannon Sharpe, who I'm only, using his name just because it was him and this what was brought out. And for me personally, I feel like it was more so about the gay rumors. People, including myself, have kind of alluded to just wondering, like, what are we doing at 55, 56, still not married? Like, me personally, I just don't understand that, but to each their own. And then also, just as a heterosexual man, I don't know if it's because I'm from the South or what have you. It was a lady the other day who got blocked on my channel. She was saying that I'm homophobic. It's not that I'm homophobic, but it's just kind of like, if a guy likes to insert himself in the exit of a man and I am a man, I'm not going to hang with that guy. It just don't make sense. Like, why would I hang out with a guy and be close with a guy and work with a guy who wants to insert himself in me? That just doesn't add up to me. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, nothing against the guy. Like, okay, God bless you. We praying for you. Keep your head up, but you're not finna be around my exit if you want to enter. And and then guys try to say, like, guys who are like that, they try to say, oh, every man don't like you. Don't be thinking that just because I'm gay that I want a piece of you. I don't want you. And it's like, yeah, that's what we all say as guys. That's what we tell women. For those of us who like women, we try to get around the woman and pretend to be safe, like we not gonna do anything, but we waiting on our opportunity to pounce. And so when Shannon was seen with the young man who is said to like men, that just raised a lot of questions. And because we all are men and we all know that if you are not into that lifestyle, you don't make it a habit of hanging with those guys who are into that lifestyle, because human nature, how the heart works, how the mind works, and that if there's a possibility of like somebody liking you or wanting to sleep with you, you don't want to play with that. That's why I don't believe in, as a married man, in having female friends. Like, if I was to have a female friend, she would have to be into women, and I'm not gonna do that either. But because then she might like my wife, because it's human nature. It's just human nature. But people try to act like that's not the case. But I'm not dumb. Like, I do this every day. And so with the Shannon situation, I think it was more so just to get over those rumors, because he responded to that. But on a larger scale than that, it just kind of shows the state of men, and just the fact that we could be in our 50s and still in sex scandals and stuff like that. It also alludes to, if it's very hard to go live on a situation like that. It's very hard to go live. And so I struggle going live on purpose. So I'm not really sure how he went live on accident. But if he had the screen Instagram open and he had then clicked, the little plus sign to make a post, yeah, it had to be intentional. It had to be, because you got to click 2, 3, 4, 5 things like to get in there. It had to be intentional. And then the way it was sitting, the camera was showing like it would have just been black because the camera was showing something like a brown thing. So it had to be set up. And then, but it's unfortunate that it was set up and still wasn't done well. I mean, he on there growling and all of that, and it's just like, what is this? Like, I just, my 17-year-old son talking about it. My wife asked me about it, and I'm just like, are we? It's really. But I also think that right as the time that it came out, just in the PR world and the laws of power world, it shifted the focus from him reprimanding Ocho Cinco, and because people was trying to frame this narrative of he treat Ocho the way Skip Bayless used to treat him, and which it kind of looks like that. And so to not have people keep talking about that and putting stuff in Ocho head and making Ocho kind of think about like, man, am I being a little boy? Because Ocho far from a little boy. He far from scared of anybody. Ocho not intimidated by Shannon. It's impossible to come from where Ocho come from in Miami, Florida, and be scared of any living, walking, breathing human being. Like he played nice, but he a killer. Like more so than Shannon. Like Shannon ain't scared of stuff either. But this is the state of men. Of a lot of men, and I seen so many people in the comments on Shannon page of like, it's all right, it's cool, it's cool. And at the end of the day, it's like it's not that big of a deal. And the reason why I don't speak on this stuff is because, like with Shannon Sharpe, and I was gonna tell some of y'all that, like, I don't care about that stuff as much, like with what they got going on, because Shannon Sharpe never says the word of God. Like he never mentions God. I've never seen a clip where he is trying to preach and he trying to, God told me this, God told me that. Like he's never doing that. So when you living in debauchery and you living in fornication and you open about your fornication, I respect that more. Like I actually have more respect for men like Shannon Sharpe, who they just out there. Like he letting you know that he got a gay male best friend when he had that, a gay male stylist, and he taking his gay stylist to the game. They sit in courtside. You know, Shannon built different. He all the muscles, so he taking up his chair and half of the little gay man chair. So the little gay man, he's sitting up there in a straight jacket like this, and sitting down there beside Shannon, and then Shannon arm taking up half of the man's chest. In the picture I seen, which I get it because my security guard who played O-line for me in college, I was a running back. He was an old lineman. He do me like that too. When we on the plane or we go to somewhere, a game or something together, his shoulder so broad, I got to kind of squinch in a little bit. But he's not into men, so it's a little different. He married a married man, father of 3 or 4 kids, so it's a little different. So when Shannon did that, and I'm gonna tell you, that stuff bother you. That stuff bothered. And I think that's why he mentioned that. He mentioned Cat Williams, call him and say, well, you ain't gay today. But now the way he said that, I'm like, it could just gay. I would have said, yeah, Cat Williams called me and said, well, you done proved you ain't gay. But he said, you ain't gay today. So I'm like, okay, was you gay yesterday? Or is you gay tomorrow? Like, I'm not understanding this right here. But I don't really concern myself with that stuff. That's why I got to go in 10 minutes, because I got a coaching call in 10 minutes. But I don't concern myself with what the world doing. Like, so I just want to, I'm doing this video just because y'all was asking me about it, but I'm not a gossip blogger. I don't cover everything. I touch on people in the body of Christ who are living as hypocrites, and they're framing messages about God, and all their content, like if all their content, and when I say all, I mean like at least 80, 70, 80% of their content is with Christians and with pastors, and they always talking about godly relationships and godly stuff, but they're living in sexual sin. That's who I come for. That's what I don't like, because you're making the name of God look bad, and you're making the church look like hypocrites. But when you are open and honest about your sin, and you in sin, and you're not trying to say that you like this devout man of God who is living by the word of God, then I don't really concern myself with you, because you've picked your side. You've picked your side and you doing it your way. But at the same time, the stuff doesn't last. Like, the wages of sin is death. And if now Disney owns ESPN, and Disney hired a black lady who has I don't know if she got a transgender or a cisgender daughter or something like that, but I seen a little clip of the black lady, and she said that she has a daughter who is doing something with their gender. And so now she's like, the black lady is like the director of something she does for Disney, where she get to pick projects and do projects. And she was like, yeah, and we're just sprinkling it in there, talking about they're gonna be putting like the transgender and the cisgender and all of that in the cartoons, in the Disney cartoons. And so, being that Disney is debaucherous and so demonic, like the Disney cartoons, they have so much witchcraft in them and so much demon play in them. Like, your kids getting spells put on them watching Disney cartoons and Disney movies. It's a lot of craziness with Disney, just a lot of witchcraft, a lot of black magic, a lot of all kind of craziness. So they now is introducing, gay kids, they introducing transgender kids in their cartoons. So I can't see ESPN caring about what Shannon Sharpe did. But if they get a lot of backlash or something like that, they may have to let them go for other reasons. It might be like irreconcilable differences, or they may try to spin something like him and somebody on the show got into it. But it's really this incident, because the incident is very irresponsible, and it's kind of what you would call soft porn, because I mean, it's ASMR. You know how people do the audio stimulation and listen to the sound. So you listening to this sound of this grown man, doing this with the woman, and then it's on Instagram Live, which they keep banning Lil Boosie Instagram. I keep seeing stuff about that. Lil Boosie always, talking about his Instagram getting shut down. Technically, Instagram supposed to have a staff that is sitting there monitoring all the lives, and have different staff monitoring the lives, so that you can't go on there and do pornographic things, and especially on shortlisted accounts like a Shannon Sharpe account, which is a big account, because they be buffering and pausing my stuff when I say certain words on there on Instagram. So, and they done wrote me before, because something a lady asked a question during my Q&A, and it was like, it said, I hate men, or she was speaking for herself, and by me answering it, Instagram flagged it and was like, this go against our guidelines. So I'm like, okay, this is my story. So y'all reading my story, or you got like AI something that could read the story, or you got an actual staff assigned to my account? I'm like, what in the world going on? How out of billion accounts, y'all seen that somebody asked me a question where she's saying she hate men? And I'm like, that's not, she says she hate men. Like, that ain't nothing bad, but they literally banned that story and remove that story. So it's like, how do y'all remove that? But then you got a grown man, you know, growling like a sick dog, having sex with a woman supposedly, and y'all don't shut the live down. Like, what the world? So that just show you where our world is too. But for me, I'm the type of person, and where I'm at in my life, I got to go in 5 minutes. Is Hold on one second. My wife texted me. She getting our Friday night Netflix and chill set up because that's a long week for me. Been working hard. The way our world is going and the what I want to see personally from this, like what would make me happy as a man, especially as a black man, I want to see every black man with a voice, married and faithful, because our young men need to see that. Like our young men need to see that marriage is a thing, that living faithful, doing like is a thing. Like that sleeping around, you're gonna catch a disease. You're gonna eventually catch a disease. I'm coaching people who they have HIV, herpes, genital warts, syphilis, all this stuff. And some people don't tell people that they have it because they don't know how to come out and say it. And they don't want to be alone for the rest of their life. So it's like, if you're not going and getting a test together, getting the results with the doctor, reading the results with the doctor, you don't know what kind of paperwork you done got that's doctored up, that is not real. So I want to see Shannon Sharpe married and happy. I want to see Stephen A. Smith married and happy. I want to see Deion Sanders married and happy. It may be other guys out there. I don't know if like the other guys on TV, like the Keon, I don't know what it, man, Keyshawn Johnson. I don't know if them type of guys are married, but I want to see every black man, especially over the age of like 40, that has an audience, that has a platform. I want to see every one of them married and faithful. And we don't know what LeBron James and Dwayne Wade get into. We could assume we seen what Kevin Hart get into because they had it on video, a little bit of it. I doubt it was a publicity stunt, but I just respect the fact that they trying. That LeBron got the brand he got and he married. That Kevin Hart got the brand he got and he married. Dwayne Wade got the brand he got and he married. Carmelo Anthony, he tried it and it didn't work out. But if you notice, like, look at Kevin Durant, still unmarried. Look at like a James Harden, still unmarried. Like we have big age grown men who are still not married. And it sends a message of like division. And it's not, and it says like, man, you can't control yourself or you can't get over yourself and learn how to live with one woman and love her. Like I respect Ocho, what he trying to do with his relationship. I don't know if they married or not, but I respect that he in a relationship and he promote his woman, and all of that. Like we never know if the stuff gonna last, but I at least respect the attempt because our young men need to see and know about. My son was talking to me last night on a ride home from soccer practice. He's 17 years old, and he was talking about how many guys his age is already addicted to porn and like can't come up out of it. Like they like hollow in their eyes, like don't know how to talk to women because of just watching so much of that stuff. And he said how he's been able to avoid the rabbit hole and going down that, but he was like he's afraid for his future because he want to save himself until marriage, and he's afraid that he's not going to be able to meet a woman, a girl in college who has saved herself. And so I'm trying to give him tips and tools and plans because I was the opposite. I played football and basketball. I was out there bad. You hear me? So I don't want my son to make the same mistakes I made being out there spread himself so thin. But hey, I got to go. 1:00 time for my coaching call. I checked with my client and client said we still on. So I got to go. God bless. Oh, make sure you click the link in the description box. We inching closer to the goal. You can invest in the channel, be partners with me for the life of the YouTube. So, but you can read everything on there, all the numbers on there. This is SEC regulated. Now, this ain't the whole boy hookup. Nah. This ain't just, we just raised some money. It go to an escrow account with a bank that has been in existence over 150 years. Everything is top-notch. Securities and Exchange Commission. Look it up. Hey, it's Tony Gaston. God bless you. We'll talk soon. Link in the description. If I forgot to put it there, then check yesterday or day before video. God bless you.